Great job, D. Great job, D.
Kiana Martin here with 49ers owner Jed York. And we've got a familiar face in the building, 49ers legend, Joe Staley. Joe, thanks so much for joining us here. How's retirement treating you? Have things finally set in that you're retired, or is that coming later on down the line once football's up and running?
Yeah, it has settled in a little bit. I've been trying to get on the golf course. I actually golfed with McGlinchey. We golfed Pebble Beach. Was the first time I ever golfed Pebble Beach in my whole entire time down here in the Bay Area. So figured before I was moving out of the Bay Area for good, I had to golf there one first time actually.
Are you any good?
No, I'm not good. Like I said, I have some hours to fill now, and so I think it's a good activity to pick up.
You have to be better than McGlinchey, don't you?
No, he's actually really good. You know, Mike, he's just like overanalyzes everything, and so he's going to overanalyze every single golf swing. He thinks he's out there Tiger Woods, so he expects perfection out of everything he does. So if his shot isn't an absolute perfect, he's losing his mind, and so I have to remind himself, just like I had to on the football field, that it's a game, and you're not a professional golfer. You're a professional football player, so let's get upset about football, not golf.
We're going to have to check back in like a couple of months and see how you're doing with your golf game. But it's your first June not preparing for football in decades, right?
Yeah. Still is kind of weird because, you know, typically everybody will be doing off-season programs, OTAs, all that stuff, and I'd be seeing all the news and not being a part of it. But no one's really doing that right now. So, you know, everybody's kind of doing the same home workouts that everybody else is doing across the country. And, you know, I've been doing home workouts too. So maybe in my own mental state, it hasn't really hit me that I'm not getting ready for football. But you know, once training camp comes around and things start getting ramped up and guys go back to work and all that stuff, it'll probably hit me a little bit more. But.
So Kyle Juszczyk recently shared a story about how after the Super Bowl on the bus ride from the to the airport, you were going back and forth in your mind and with your teammates on your decision to retire. He alluded to your competitiveness and wanting to finish what was being built. How hard at that moment was that decision, just coming hours after the Super Bowl, even before consulting doctors and physicians? How difficult was that?
The whole entire process was extremely difficult. I think it was well documented, and I think the way I played the game and went about my business, so it was everybody could tell how much the game of football meant to me and how much, you know, playing for the 49ers franchise meant to me. And you know, something that I obviously did not take lightly. And I mean, even when I was going through the whole process, I was having all these thoughts and conversation that changed my mind, you know, one day to the next, 1 hour to the next. So, you know, obviously in the super raw moments after the Super Bowl, you're all over the place emotionally. You know, as you get older, your body starts kind of wearing down. I gave everything I had to the game, but it was never a right time, but you know, it was the right time for me.
Jed, what was your timeline when you heard the news, and what was your reaction to your longest tenured 49er hanging it up for good?
I saw Joe after the Super Bowl, and everybody was emotional. You know, when we got to it and Joe kind of informed us of his decision close to the draft. I mean, again, like an awesome teammate, he didn't make an announcement before the draft. He allowed us to go into the draft with people not knowing that, and that helped us go make a trade. And again, it just shows you what an ultimate teammate Joe is, in terms of doing what he has to do for himself, but putting the team first and putting the organization first, and letting us try to not be at a disadvantage with him making his own personal announcement. He's going to always be a part of this team in one form or another. And that's always how he's approached it.
Since the announcement, just about every one of your teammates, past and present, all recall different memories of you. Have you heard some of the stories your teammates have shared?
That's the thing that's so great about football, is it just brings so many different people together. You just accumulate memories and moments, and not even ones that are in the public eye and ones that are shared in the football field, but just, you know, conversations, bus rides, plane rides. I mean, everything that just goes along with being a professional athlete. And there's a lot of fun stories that I have with a lot of the, you know, different players that I got to play with.
We heard the story about Patrick Willis and his first time meeting you, coming down the escalator at SFO, and he sees this big guy coming down, and he's like, oh, so that's who I'm practicing against. And then Raheem Mostert told the story about when he first got to the team, you were one of the guys that sat in the cafeteria with him. and he was curious on how he could become a great like Frank Gore, and you sat and kind of talked through what kind of guy, what kind of player Frank is. These are just some of the stories, but Jed, I want to toss it back to you. What would you say? Do you have a personal memory or a favorite moment that happened with Joe?
A good friend of mine from high school, when we were playing in Pittsburgh, his son was probably like 6 or 7 at the time and was a big Moana fan. And he told Joe that, and Joe started busting out Moana songs. And like, that's something that's fairly stuck in my head, but that was not like a one-off thing for Joe, you know? And that's, again, it's what makes him a special person, is that he knew the stage that he was on, and he treated everybody with respect and with dignity. And whether it was an adult or whether it was a little kid, made them feel so comfortable and so at home. I was fortunate enough to go home last week to see my parents, and obviously travel is not the easiest thing to do right now, but she's got a picture from one of her events where my mom is in the middle, and, you know, McGlinchey's on one side and Joe's on the other. You see Joe here, and, you know, I mean, you know, that's the type of person he is somebody that's going to sit there and protect, you know, somebody that's my mom's size, and he's going to protect. And like, that's just an image that I have in my head. That it was an awesome night. It was an awesome photo, and it speaks volumes to who Joe is.
I want to go back to that week 17 win in Seattle, the spike after Mostert's touchdown. Joe, you said, I've been waiting my whole career for that spike. You were emotional after the win. Remind us just that significance of that game, and what did it mean to you and your NFL career?
Yeah, that game, just because of, you know, what it meant to the team in the season to win the title, everything on the line. And then just personally, just being part of so many heartbreak games there. You know, you kind of go back to the 2013 game, the NFC Championship, coming so close, and then we kind of lost there every time we played until that moment. For everything to be on the line, to win that game, and still just, it was an unbelievable game, unbelievable finish, obviously. Dre had the big stop at the goal line. One of those memories and one of those games that I'll remember for the rest of my life. You know, I think in that moment, I just got the ball, and I just realized, it kind of hit me like, we're going to do this. You know, this is going to happen. We're going to win. And especially in the environment that we were in. And Seattle's a really hard place to win. So I shared this before, but my only thoughts was, I know I'm really amped up and I'm going to give everything I have to this spike, but just don't fall over.
Jed, did you kind of have a similar emotion? And I'm not talking about falling over after a spike, but just the emotion surrounding that game, being up 2 touchdowns, and the history of playing at CenturyLink Field. What was your emotion during that game?
I either had the pleasure or the misfortune that I've been there many, many times, and just know that the game is not over at that place until there's 3 zeros in the fourth quarter. They tried to knock us out, and we did everything that we could to stop them, and thankfully we did. I echo Joe's sentiments that if I had a ball, I would have definitely spiked it, but I would have probably fallen on my face.
Joe, you were named to the NFL All-Decade Team. What does that mean to you?
What is it? Rising tides raises all ships. So, like, you know, the better that, you know, I'm doing for the team, the better the team's going to be doing. And that's how everybody's going to kind of get what they wanted to go individually. With that all being said, though, that was something I was pretty proud of, just because it's more of a career award, and to be honored that way is pretty special. So, something I'll tell the kids.
I want to talk about Trent Williams. He's got big shoes to fill, and not only as a player, but as a teammate. But give me a scouting report.
Trent is someone that I've watched my whole entire career as someone how to do it at the highest level. His athleticism is, I think, unparalleled in the NFL as far as left tackles. You know, what he's able to do out in space, point of attack. He's really perfect for Kyle's scheme offensively. Like Jed said before, it was really important to me to be able to keep the 49ers in a position where they weren't screwed over by my retirement, and creating a big void there in the offensive line. And not only that, but just, you know, kind of a leadership, veteran presence. And for the organization to kind of pivot from me to Trent Williams, I mean, I don't think you can do it much better. He's one of the absolute best in the game at left tackle. Everybody that's played with him says he's an unbelievable person, teammate. He's a veteran guy that knows how to get things done. He's done it at a high level for a long time.
Joe, honestly, you will truly be missed. We'll miss seeing you on the field, and we're hoping to see you back in some capacity, even if that's just to harass the guys in the locker room. But before we go, I want to hand it over to Jed because he has something special to present you.
We send something to your house. I won't tip the hand as to what it is, but we'll give you the opportunity to open it up, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it.
All right. Yeah, I'm very curious on what this is. There's a lot of secrecy going around about this package. I was not allowed to touch it. I did open it with a little knife, didn't peek inside, but I got it all prepped and ready. So it's right here.
He's much better protecting the blind side than opening the packages. All right.
Oh my gosh!
Well,
This is pretty sweet.
Our crew helped design that and put that together for you, and we wanted to try to capture your career. And again, there's a lot to capture, but I hope you have fun with that. I know we all had fun putting it together for you, man.
This is unbelievable. Thank you so much. When I get excited, I want to swear, and so I'm having a hard time keeping my.
Don't spike it.
Really freaking cool, man.
I'm glad you like it, Joe.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope the girls, get a chance to really look at that and know what the team and what your teammates and what the organization thinks. Obviously, we're looking forward to you being in our Hall of Fame at some point. I have a bet with Frank as to who's going to be the first 49er that I was around that goes into Canton. And you at least have a leg up on him now for retiring a year before.
Frank is taking his time. He's gonna be playing until he's 50.
I know.
For the people that are watching and looking at this illustration, there's different quotes and sayings from former teammates, current teammates that encapsulates Joe's entire career. And I know it's hard. You might not be able to see everything right here, but it is featured on 49ers.com, where there's also an in-depth look at the making of this illustration. So make sure you guys check that out.
This is awesome. Thank you very much. And
I'm glad that you like it, man.
Yeah, I love it.
You said I want to be remembered as a guy that gave his all, and the organization wanted to create something that resembled that. Again, thank you so much for these last 13 seasons. Hopefully we get to see more of you in the near future. And don't forget, faithful, to see this illustration, make sure you guys head to 49ers.com. Joe and Jed, thank you guys so much for joining us here on State of the Franchise.
Like you said, I'm not going to be a stranger. So as much as Jed will allow the doors to be open for me, I will be there.
We may have to keep you on reserve just as a tight end. We might need like a COVID relief person.
Could be. I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen. It's going to be very interesting. But I'll get to watch it as a fan, so it's going to be fun.
Well, the door's open, man, anytime.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.